BlogTalk Radio.
Better than diamond rings. That's why we're here to sing football. Sunday in the snow, referees whistle blows. Weekend warriors toe to toe. Football.
The old timers, do you remember the names like Bronco Nagurski and Night Train Lane? Bulldog Turner, my man Sam Huff, in the snow and the mud, they were still real tough. Crazy Legs Hurt, and remember Raymond Berry asked me if they hit hard, and I'll say Berry, Paul, Christian, Buddy, Young Lenny Moore. It's them my dog, they seem to always score. Ed Sprinkle, defensive end for those years. Gene Big Daddy Lipson was the man to fear. You have Steve Van Buren and Otto Graham. Johnny Unitas had the arm of a Superman. We had Charlie Trippy and Gino Marquette. If you're searching for a champion, they're your best bet. Which I could quarterback, like Johnny Lou Jack or even Sid Luffin, as a matter of fact. Do you remember Red Brains, the galloping ghost? He could do a 95 running coast to coast. You had Norm Van Brockton, a real great player, so swift with his moves that he could be mayor. Y.A. Tittle, Allie Madison, hey, I remember all those guys from back in the days.
It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. That's why we're here to sing football. Sunday in the snow, referees whistle blows. Weekend warriors toe to toe. Football, 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 football.
Hey. Welcome to the CMT Firestorm Football Talk Show. I'm your host, Carson Mathis, where we give you the live, unedited, unscripted, objective analysis on college and professional football. I like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. We have our co-host today here, Chi-Town from the Chi. Chi-Town Mike, what's going on?
What's going on, Clausel? What's going on, everybody?
What's good?
Everybody? You know what I'm
What's
saying?
good?
Hey, Merry Christmas. I'm glad to be back. I was just saying last week, Chi-Town, wasn't on last week, but hey, you all did great, man. I enjoyed listening to the show last week. No, I wasn't.
I'm listening. You there? I think you got some technical difficulties. I don't know if you're there. Hold on real quick. Audience, real quick. Oh, I think we lost Chi-Town real quick. He should come up in a second. But I'm glad everybody's here listening. Again, oh, yeah, he's back now. Chi-Town, you there? Chi-Town?
Yeah, I'm back. Signal faded,
Okay.
but I'm back. But yeah, I was just saying, you all did great, man. We're gonna keep it going. Chi-Town is back,
All right.
baby.
That's good. Let's get started here. Let's get on Jim Harbaugh. There's rumors surfacing that he may go to Michigan. There's rumors surfacing that he may go to the Bears. So what's your take on Jim Harbaugh and what should he do? What if you were Jim Harbaugh or you were advising Jim Harbaugh, Chi-Town, what would be your advice that you would give him in regards to what should be his next step? Should he stay in San Francisco? Should he go to the Bears? Should he go to Michigan? Or he should just go to another NFL job that will open? Because I'm pretty sure he will be high on the demand. So what's your take on this, Chi-Town?
Well, Isaiah, you can pretty much ex San Francisco out. They already said 24, 48 hours that he pretty much is going to be gone from San Francisco. So he out of San Francisco. I mean, Michigan, I can see why he split. Michigan, that's a story college football program, the winningest college football program, and then your chance to be the man like Nick Saban is, being out there coaching, building, that program back up. Then you got an NFL team like the Chicago Bears, a charter franchise NFL, where he got drafted to the Chicago Bears, and he has a strong relationship with the McCaskies. And like I was telling everybody, and I posted a link that the Bears, they going hard after Jim Harbaugh, or are they willing to throw some draft picks at him? And I was telling people also about, the chairman, George McCaskey. He's, He's not like all the other McCaskies that, took over the team. This man, he's different. He say he really wants to win, and he's willing to do whatever he takes, for the Bears to get back and win championships. And I think he's gonna make some big moves, man. And
okay.
I think whatever he needs to get here, get to do, because the last process he didn't make the decision to fire Lovie Smith. He gave that to Phil Emery, the general manager at that time. So, and then when Jerry Angelo got fired, that was up to Ted Phillips, the president. So really, George McCaskey had nothing really to do with that either. So that was Ted's call. He went along with it. I think this time, with how the Bears is going down, I think he's going to make some big, swift changes, man. And they said, too, I heard, that they might even, change things how it was done before, might do some things a little, they're doing some things different this time. So they might change up in management. Because our president, Ted Phillips, he really doesn't know football. He's a business guy. Like the firm, they hired some type of a firm to find, the best GM for the past 2 GMs we had. They used like a research firm or something to find the 2 GMs, and they did the scout. So they didn't bring in a guy who knows football, and I think that's what is missing. And they said George McCaskey, he talked with Jerry Reinsdorf. He talked with Rocky Works, the Blackhawks owner. So he talked to those guys, and, the Blackhawks, though, they was a team that's been laughing stout for a while now. They're a winning team, competitive and competing for Stanley Cups. They made a change where a guy who really didn't know what he was doing brought someone in who knew hockey, and since they were seeing things going and brought in some other people in it, Blackhawks, they've been winning. So I think he's probably going to follow that format. And I heard about Jim Harbaugh, whatever team is to be the Bears or any other team, he don't want GM responsibility. He don't want all the power. He just want to coach. But I believe, though, whatever team we go, I think he would have to have I think he earned the right to have final say on player personnel, though. Like how Pete Carroll has it set up. Like how Pete Carroll has it set up. Pete Carroll, he has, input on player personnel, but he don't have all the GM duties, though. That's up to the GM. So I think, because we all seen with coaches that, being head coach and GM, it hasn't worked out, in both ways. It hasn't been that much success. And like Mike Shanahan was an example. I think in Denver he had too much power. They gave him a lot of power, and they started struggling. It wasn't winning. And Mike Holmgren, too, another guy, when he left Green Bay, for more control and power in Seattle, finally when they relieved him of his GM duties, that's when Seattle went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what's your take?
If I were Jim Harbaugh, he's going to win more games if he goes to Michigan, obviously, because I think it'll be an easier fix to fix Michigan program instead of fixing an NFL program. Now, the Bears have a better team than San Francisco when he came to San Francisco. I don't think, if you compare what San Francisco was when he got there in comparison to what the Bears are, if he goes there, the Bears would be better, in my opinion. They have more talent on the offensive side of the ball. But I think that the division is tougher. You have Aaron Rodgers. You have Matthew Stafford. You have an upcoming Teddy Bridgewater. So I think that even though he has Seattle in that division now, but I just think that, the division when he first started in the NFC West was tough. But it was not tough, but then he emerged to be tougher. Seattle got better, and Arizona got better, and St. Louis got better. I think when he comes to Chicago, he's already in a tough division with 3 very good up-and-coming quarterbacks. So I think that the fix in Chicago would be a lot tougher than the fix in San Francisco. So if I were him, if he's just talking about he wants to win, I would do Michigan and then the Bears. But if he wants to just have the biggest reward, how he feels personally inside, I would do the Bears and then Michigan after that, because I think he is on the NFL. He wants to do NFL. So that's what I would suggest if I were Jim Harbaugh.
And he was saying he really wants to stay in the NFL. Why not coach the charter franchise of the NFL and coach a team that drafted you in the NFL? That's the Chicago Bears. Man, you coach the Chicago Bears, man. Chicago, you've been to Chicago. You see how this is. This is a sports town. This is a sports city, man. Die-hard, man. Yeah. And he's already known here. I mean, it's a perfect fit for him out here, man. They said,
would be a perfect fit.
They said, like, man, we all know Tristman is done. He lost the team, man, and I already know more about it today when they were talking about it, how, like, it's not been the Bears' way. A lot of stuff kind of changed. Nothing against Tristman. He seemed like a real nice guy. Our boy Johnny from FAMU, who's a 49er fan, was saying, like, about Tristman. He was kind of right, like, man, you know, he was a coordinator. You know, he came from the Canadian League, even Cali Mike. Just because he had all the success don't mean he could be a successful head coach. And I think an NFL coach. So I think with Trestman, I just think he's a Canadian League coach, man. I don't know. Some people say, well, yeah, he might get off the coordinator gig and this and that. I don't know. Maybe a quarterback coach, but his system, I think everybody call on to his system. Everybody wants to keep talking about Jay Cutler. He's not all the problem. Is that money? Yeah, you could say, but I think everybody call on with his system. You know, he hasn't adjust. That's what I think when everybody say, well, it's not, you know, it's colored and they put in Clausen, it's still the offense. We still didn't score 30 points this whole season. Last year we had the number 2 ranked offense in the NFL. And we have talent on offense too now. I mean, we have some talent. So you can't look at the players. You got to start looking at the coaching.
Okay. All right. Let's get a different take on this. James, what's your take on this?
Now we're talking about the Chicago Bears here. We're going to talk about that last point that was made. I kind of like bring up the personnel of the Chicago Bears and the way that they have their skill position players. It's no different than what the Dallas Cowboys have on their side of the field. They have, you know, big playmakers. You know, at wide receiver, they got a very good tight end and a very good running back there. I think the difference is that, you know, this year the Cowboys' offensive line was much better than what they were beforehand. And this year, the Chicago Bears' offensive line was a little bit something to be desired and, you know, forced Jay Cutler to make a little bit more mistakes than he does. The other thing is on the other side of the ball, the defense for the Chicago Bears is, like, really, really taking a step back over the past 5 years. They were pretty much known as, you know, one of the best defenses in the league, you know, bringing back the nickname of the Monsters of the Midway. But, you know, this year they really didn't have that, you know, so that was something on them. The thing with Jim Harbaugh, I think it's one of two teams, either the Michigan Wolverines or staying in California and going to the Oakland Raiders. I think the Oakland Raiders are, you know, kind of building up a little thing there. They got themselves a quarterback, got a young running back there. Defense is looking pretty good. They do have veterans in Justin Tuck, and not sure if Charles Woodson will be there another year, but, you know, they got Khalil Mack there at linebacker and, you know, a couple of other young guys on defense. So, I mean, why not, you know, start with the Oakland Raiders? As long as they're able to draft good and, you know, get a couple of, you know, good free agents in there, they'll start to improve year after year.
Hey, James, like I told Clazel, don't sleep on the Bears about getting them, man. I think they're going to go really hard at them, and they're going to do whatever they can to bring them here, man, because this things is not going well, man. Fans, you've been to Chicago before, right, James?
No, I haven't been to Chicago.
Clazel, he's been out here. You see how it is out here. I told Clazel.
Yeah, I've been out there.
Clazel, Chicago's a Bear town, man. You know, it's split on things, but this is a Chicago Bears town. Fans is, man. I mean, I'm still a diehard Bear fan. I always love my Bears, and I watch the Bears, and I listen to the Bears Sunday. But man, you got some fans. It's like, man, they just don't like. They lost hope, man. You know. So, and like I was telling them about George McCaskey, you know, Papa Alice, you know, grandson, which he, you know, George's name after his grandfather. He a different McCaskey, man. That man, he'll do what he say he has to do to get it right to win. And he wants to win championships. He ain't like his brother. His brother kind of messed some things up. Nah, he. I think this time, this one, he's gonna make his stamp, because the last two decisions he gave his okay on it, but he didn't make the call. And I think this time around now, he's gonna put his foot in. And he's gonna do everything. It's gonna be his call to make the decisions. And like I was telling Clazel, you know, McCaskey do have a great relationship with Jim Harbaugh, because when his father passed away, Harbaugh came to the funeral and stuff. So they still maintain a relationship with him.
Okay. And I want to bring it.
And everybody keeps saying, you know, too, about the Bears being cheap, this and that. We spend money to get Julius Peppers. I mean, they've been spending money. And also, they was going to throw money at Mario Williams, but we never got a chance to get him there because of Buffalo. So they willing to spend money, you know. So money will never be an issue. People say, well, the Bears don't want to spend money on that. I mean, they going to spend money. They going to do whatever they got to do to get it right. Because on that New Orleans game, there was 11,000 no-shows at that game. 11,000 no-shows at the Bears home game, and that doesn't happen, man. That doesn't happen. The fan survey was 9,000 no-shows, so it's gonna be some big changes, and they're gonna get something big.
All right, let me bring Ed in this conversation. Ed, you there?
Yeah, what's going on? How you guys doing today?
We good, man.
What's going on, Ed?
All right, chill.
What's going on, Mike? What's going on, James? What's going on, Mike? Well, I would just say I have all right, good. My, you talking about the Bears. I'll address the Bears first. I would say it's 50-50 with the Bears. You know, the 50-50 part, I mean, is it's the coach's fault and it's Cutler's fault. I give it more Cutler's fault because he is an established quarterback in the league. You know, it's not much he has not seen on defense. He's seen plenty of defenses. He's been in the AFC and the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be at this point in his life, to be doing interceptions like that and not know what's going on offense, I say it's his fault more than the coach, because you notice they're not saying, oh, he has a new coach. No one's saying it like they do with RG3 and like they said with Jason Campbell. You know, they're blaming it on Cutler, and I agree, it's totally Cutler. And the reason also the Bears not really having a good season too is I agree with James. The defense is taking a step back. Those guys are old. They need some new blood on defense. Even the new guys they have, those like Jared Allen, he's old too.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just think they just need to. I hold Cutler more accountable than anyone else on that team. And about the Jim Harbaugh situation, I would disagree with James saying go to the Raiders, because the Raiders are in a worse off situation than the 49ers. The 49ers are prepared to win right now. It's just that Colin Kaepernick has not progressed as an NFL quarterback. It's like he's taken a step back, and it shouldn't be that way when you've been to I think 3 NFC championships, if I'm wrong, or in a Super Bowl consecutively. He knows what's the problem this year. And the reason why I would say it's bad coaching, too, is because Jim Harbaugh is not using Vernon Davis this year at tight end. He's an elite tight end in the league, but he doesn't use him this year. So it's like, I don't know what's going on over there. The defense is still good, but it's just some problem going on in the locker room with the coach. And I don't think Jim Harbaugh needs to go to Michigan, because Michigan is not prepared to win right now. If he was to change, I would really say stay with 49ers, but he can't. I would say go to another team. Don't go to the Raiders. Go to someone that's prepared to win. That's all I have to say on that.
Okay, let me bring James on in here. Not James, but Steve. Steve, what's your take?
Y'all talking about the state of the Bears and Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah. I want to wrap this up before we get into Winston real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a fellow Bears fan when we go right, Steve.
Yeah, that's a team I follow, the Bears. That's a very interesting situation. It's crazy how the problem with the Bears was the offense pretty much when Lovey was there, and now it still seems like it's the same thing with a new coach. So the Bears have went backwards. I'm not a fan of Jim Tressman or whatever his name is, because he's the offense like
Mark Tressman.
Mark Tressman, yeah. His offense, it's probably predictable right now. It worked in the Canadian League. That's the Canadian League. It's the Canadian League for a reason. There's players that couldn't make it to the NFL, and they're there for a reason. So things that work, you have to he has to go back to the drawing board and come up with a better offense, because it looks too defenses are tearing them apart. But I don't know, man. I'm disappointed on all ends with Cutler, and because I remember one season before Cutler got hurt, the Bears was on the track to probably be the NFC champions, but he had got hurt and went down. A lot of people forget that, but they were like one of the best teams in the league. Then he went down, and they had that backup that couldn't do nothing. So
Caleb Haney.
We was
7-1.
Right, then Lovie Smith lose his job after that. It's like, did y'all not watch the season? Like, well,
that next season, yup. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't think that was. I'm still hurt about Lovie Smith. People can say what they want to say, but I've been hurt about that, and I think that's hurt the think that's hurt the franchise. I think that's hurt the Chicago Bears as a family. Like, they should have never did that. I know y'all wanted results, but he was the only coach to take y'all to a Super Bowl. What happened before that? I mean, it's been since back in the day, 85? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Let's be real.
But people out here kind of still saying about that fans was kind of getting tired of Lovey. I mean, just with the offense, if Lovey could just got the offense together and brought in the right offensive mind, he'd probably still be coaching the Chicago Bears right now. But he's been there that damn long, and he can't, going through all the coordinators they had, like, something had to give, man. And, of course, we already know in business when a new GM comes in, that's just how it be. They were talking about that with Phil Emery with that decision he made, and you bring in Mark Tressman. They said Tressman, was really thorough and great in the interview process. He just blew him out of the water, but just, I just think he's not an NFL head coach. He's more a Canadian League coach, and like Lance Briggs and Robbie Gould said that things haven't been the Bear way. And it goes back since when Dick Duran was here. They were saying like things would do where Tressman, Patrick Manley, James, he has a radio show now on the station called WSCR 670 AM The Score in the morning from 9 o'clock Chicago time, 10 o'clock your time. So easy to check him out. He be having some. You can listen to him online too. He be telling pretty much what's been going on and stuff when he was there. Because of course he was under Tressman last year. He said Tressman's a nice guy, but it's like you can't. He said things changed kind of when he came in. Like you can't. He don't believe in hazing or joking around or yelling at a teammate, making sure if someone messes up. He just like, well, we don't do that here. Kind of like, okay, you made a mistake, don't worry about it. Kind of like undisciplined type stuff. And he said like, man, he like it the old way where you get on your teammate. Like, man, in the rookies, he's like pretty much everybody earned their stripes. When Lovie Smith was there, they were saying he was saying when Roberto Garza, who's one of our captains, when he first came in, he had to earn, his stripes with the Bears. He said now anybody come in, they pretty much, already earned it, and that don't really go like that. Even the rookies, like how the rookies had to earn, like Patrick was saying, I don't want to hear from no rookie. Rookies don't talk. Just be quiet and shut up and listen. Where there, rookies are treated as equal. He was saying like just like the veterans. The veterans are treated like the rookies are. That's what he was saying today. I'm like, That's the problem right there, because I've been saying it the past several weeks. I'm like, yeah, he lost that team, and I knew he lost it in that game against Green Bay. And everybody was saying, when was the Bears' downfall? When you knew it was over? I said it was when we played the Packers the second time after the bye week. I like, yeah, the Bears are done.
Damn. So he's like Larry Coker, huh?
Everybody was saying, well, when he's gonna get fired, they think, will he be offensive coordinator? Since they were saying, how the Fox telecast, they were saying it was kind of bad mouthing, making the quarterbacks look bad, like Clausen was saying, like, well, it's a system, and then Jay Cutler and all that type of stuff. But then it showed it right there. It's not Jay Cutler, like Steve said, it's his system. Everybody call on to his system. His system that he hasn't adapted. I think he's gonna be if he does stay in the NFL. It was something about the other day. I think he'd be maybe a quarterback coach, but I don't know if he's gonna be definitely gonna be head coach again. And I ain't too sure about offensive coordinator.
All right.
And I say this too, and I heard this too. I want to say this to Steve. They said the Bears are willing also to do some things different that they haven't done before, because our president, Ted Phillips, he's an excellent businessman, but he doesn't know anything about football. And they said, and the legends out here and even fans were saying that they need to restructure their whole front office, their management, bring someone in who knows football. So and George McCaskey's a different guy, and I think that, and everybody when they've been saying that there's going to be some big time changes. It's going to probably be something done really big. So I think he's going to get it because they say he talked to Rocky Wirtz, the owner of the Blackhawks, and Jerry Reinsdorf during time when he transitioned in as being the Bears chairman. The Blackhawks would be like a laughing stock, but then they got the right people in the organization and management, and they've been winning. So, and I too, the Cubs. Look what the Cubs are doing. The Cubs about to start getting it going now. So, I think he's gonna get it right.
Yeah.
And Jay Glazer says that he thinks Jim Harbaugh could be the front runner to land with the Bears too. By the way, as head coach.
Jim Harbaugh might be kind of a hard one to get, but yeah.
All right, I want to curve the conversation here. I want to get to my boy, huh?
Hey, Clazel. Since you was talking about me and Steve our Bears. What about your Giants, man? You think Kaufman's gonna be back? Y'all gonna maybe looking for
I think they're gonna give him one. I think they're gonna give him one more year. He wants one more year.
I don't know.
And I think he'll fix it. He'll fix it.
He earned it, but y'all a younger team though, so I don't know, man.
Hey, but what Beckham's doing out there, it looked like the Giants might have got it together towards the end of the year. So Coughlin, I think they're gonna give him one more year, let him retire, see what he can do, and then move on.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, I need to curb this conversation here. I want to get on Jameis Winston real quick. Let's get to the entertainment here, James. Now, what I want to talk about is he has been, well, for anybody that doesn't know, he was found not liable, or there was no preponderance of evidence to suggest that he broke the student code of conduct by Florida State University, and so he's pretty much scot-free to go. And so my question is, I want to start this by saying, what's your take on the whole result, and do you think that Jameis Winston, through this whole process in regards to this sexual assault allegation, do you think that this image of him in relation to this issue has been fair towards Jameis Winston? And if you don't think it's fair, why do you not think people think it's fair? Let's start with you, Steve. Let's start with you, Steve, and I'm going to get Ed on the line too. And then the 708. I got you coming to 708.
Well, do I think? When do you mean? Do I think what is fair? Let me say that.
Like the way the media is the way the media is portraying him in regards to this situation.
Well, I can't speak on it because I stopped following it, man. It's BS to me. Leave the man alone, let him move on. I mean, it's kind of put a damper on how everybody sees the man because, I mean, that's all. I mean, little kids know who Winston is, and it might not be for a good reason. You know what I mean? But, I think they've gave him a very bad public image for no reason. You know what I mean? People make mistakes. He's a young man. Let's move on. Let him get to his NFL career and leave it alone. That's all I got to say about it. I stopped following all that stuff, man, because it gets me mad. So I haven't even been keeping up.
Why does it get you mad? Why does it get you mad?
Why does it get me mad?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like they be trying to egg stuff on for no reason. Like shit, man. The stuff. Let me excuse my language. The stuff been over with, but they still want to talk about it, man. They still want to push the issue. They still want to push the envelope. Like there's got to be something wrong with it.
Well, why? I mean, why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think they're doing that?
Could be. I don't know. Maybe it could be a culture reason. They don't like him. I don't know, man. They don't like the guy. They want a bad guy. They want a poster child, whatever. The poster child bad guy. I mean,
all right, Steve. All right. Let's hold on. Before we get James up in here, let's get Ed. Ed, what's your take on this?
Well, it's a sad situation when you look at it. When a young man, I forgot his age. He's not 21 yet, right? He's still
20.
19. Okay. When a young man
he's
gets crucified, when a young man gets crucified in the media, that can, and the things they're saying can surely affect his future, and and his status as a quarterback in the NCAA. It's only because he's African American these things are happening. I recently watched the 30 for 30 ESPN Brian Bosworth documentary. He wasn't crucified as his dad. He was doing a lot of things too. He was, it's only because it's a clear reason why they did it to James Winston. They don't want him. They didn't want him to win the national championship. They also didn't want him to win the Heisman. That's why it happened. The media did it on purpose. They want to make way for Oregon to get in the limelight, to bring up Marcus Mariota, when everyone knows there's never in history in any sport, pro, little league, pee-wee, however you want to call it, high school, you were undefeated for 2 years, you're not ranked the number one team in the country. It's a clear conspiracy against the African American quarterback. So that's exactly what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Don't like the man. He's African American, and he's winning. But on the other hand, he did do some things that he shouldn't have been doing, like the crab leg stuff.
Yeah, crab leg.
And making obscene gestures on campus. But these are things that normal people do, so it's not really abnormal with the crab leg or the obscene gestures. It's just that because the African American, whatever you do, they're gonna tax someone. Okay, he's this, he's that now, he's this. So, and clearly, him winning him getting in trouble for crab legs and being accused of raping women, which not true because we live in Tallahassee. Mike and Clausel, we live in Tallahassee. We went to school up there. We know what time it is in Florida State. He ain't raping nobody. It's free. So it's just a sad situation. When you can sit up here and drag this man through the hot coals and try to ruin him, all because you really want some money, and because the media wants to, because he's African American.
So you think the onslaught? So you think the onslaught is strictly 100% because he's black?
It's only because he's African American and because he's a quarterback.
Yeah, you think it's like all because he's African American?
Because he's African American, and because he's playing quarterback. Quarterback historically is in a position reserved for Europeans on all levels: pee-wee, high school, up pro, or college.
Mm.
And they want to stop. They want to stop the streak of African Americans winning the Heisman consecutive years back to back. That's what they want to stop too.
Interesting. Yeah, who won the Heisman last year? Jameis, and then who won the year? RG3? Let me look. I'll look it up. That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
I think Johnny won it before. Johnny won it before him, then Art Street, but still, it was the street African Americans winning it.
Interesting. Now, who's 708? 708, you there?
Yeah, what's up? I'm here.
What's your take on the whole situation?
Hey, man, what's up, man? Mike, everybody. All right, before I go ahead and talk about Winston, I got to say something about the Bears. Defense has regressed. Offense has regressed. Emery was stupid for going ahead and giving Cutler that huge contract in the beginning. The whole team just needs to be rebuilt. Trustman needs to leave. Harbaugh needs to replace him. Now, I have to say my take on that. Now let me go ahead and talk about Jameis Winston. The reason why the media, they should just leave him alone. He's just a kid. I mean, with him being a quarterback with a major with a major university, I mean, there's going to be a lot of attention he's going to get regardless, so forth and so on. So it's something that comes with it. The best thing he needs to do is just go ahead, do what he needs to do. He's going to go to the NFL, probably a high pick, and just let him live his life. That's my take on everything. Hey, you. Back up.
Yeah.
Hello?
Now. Yeah, hello?
Yeah, I'm Sarah.
Yeah. James.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your take on Jameis?
Look, man. We're giving people too many excuses here, all right? This is nothing new. We're trying to put Jameis Winston on some type of untouchable pedestal. We don't do that shit for everybody. I'm sorry, we don't do that. If you on the top of a table talking about fuck her right in the pussy, come on, man. And you ain't getting disciplined for that. When we said for the longest time that if any one of us did the same thing, we would hear it from our dean. We would hear it from our academic advisor. We would hear it from at least somebody from the university. Would we or wouldn't we?
We would not hear it.
Nope.
So wait. So
nah.
If you were in the hold on, who is here like from the University of South Florida? Well, it don't even have to be the University of South Florida. It could be the Marshall Center or any student union building where you went to college at. If you were right there in Front Street doing the stuff that he's doing and you didn't get disciplined for it, it's either one or two things. One, if you mean so much to that university so that they can't touch you because if they did, they would lose a lot of revenue. Or two, you were pretty much related to one of those staff members at the university and couldn't be touched.
Damn, I didn't think about that.
But what happened was people don't hold on. Hold on, you gotta think about what happened here. Hold on, you gotta understand. You gotta think what happened. Like that whole situation. What happened was he jumped on top of the table, used gesture, and then people on Twitter tweeted it, and that's how the university found out about it. It wasn't like he jumped on the table and a university administrator was right there for him to see him. Now let's say if a student, regular student did that, and then other students started tweeting that, and then the university found out about it. Would the university still suspend the person? I don't know about that.
No.
But I think it's just the fact
that he got in trouble because he was Jameis Winston.
A name always will get you in trouble regardless.
But here's the problem though. That's on top of what he did over at Publix. That's on top of what he did at Burger King. That's on top of what supposedly, even though we've had many evidence that says that,
and we don't know Burger King either.
Happened. Right. but either
we don't know if that Burger King either.
Wait. We're putting up excuses for stuff like that, whether it did happen or not. It's almost like, okay, why are you putting yourself into that situation? That is my question.
I mean, he's a name. He's a name. A name is always going to get you in trouble regardless. Take a look at what happened with all the rest of the other ones that got in trouble. It was a name that they had to go ahead and use, and that's what the media focuses on.
So, but here's the thing, right? We're in a social media age. Y'all were talking about Brian Bosworth, right?
All right.
That was over, 30 years ago?
80s.
30 years ago, we didn't have high-speed internet. 30 years ago, we didn't have quad-core computers out there. 30 years ago, we didn't have those type of cell phones taking those pictures. So the thing is that 30 years ago, those people were able to get away with what they were able to do, but because they didn't have that type of instant things happening there like we do now. As far as Winston is concerned, I'm just gonna sit back and just let him do what he does, either in this game or whatever it is, because I've said it for the longest time. When it comes to a university that's named, anybody gets in trouble, the university doesn't put the punishment on them until everybody leaves. So
like when the smoke clears, what you trying to say?
When the smoke clears, that's when they drop the hammer on a school. It happened in Miami. It happened at SMU. It happened at USC. It happened in Penn State, and it's going to keep on happening. They don't punish you right then and there. Hardly ever.
Yeah, I will say that because it took them a while to go ahead and prosecute what happened to USC with the Reggie Bush thing, and then it did take them along with the Jerry Sandusky thing over at Penn State. I will give you that though.
So that's pretty much been the pattern for mostly schools. And the University of Miami, you can add them too. Now, I'm right here, looking at part 2, jamming the T-double-G, and they're gonna run through all that stuff. The trouble they went with that guy Nevin Shapiro. Mm-hmm. They punished the football program, but they didn't punish that president that was taking that check, did they?
No.
Nah, I ain't hear no.
No.
You gotta wait.
Oh, what was that?
I was gonna say, Steve, what the reason they didn't punish Shalala is because she's connected, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, look, I know she's Bill Clinton connected. She worked under Bill Clinton, so I already know. That wasn't a surprise to me, but I'm like, if you're gonna try to have some type of fall people for it, and you ain't gonna take no blame, and then you gonna act like you clean, nah, you ain't gonna let that fly, nah, son.
Well, they had to pay all the money back that he gave, though. The university had to take that hit. All the money that he gave.
Well, at least they had to do that. I mean, thank goodness. I'm like, come on, man. I'm gonna go ahead and take that money with a smile and I pay it back. Oh no, dog.
Just like Keller was smiling when he took that damn money. I'm sorry, I had to get back on there with that topic.
But in Jameis Winston's defense, I was at FAM. I did some wild stuff. But I did some wild stuff at Florida State. I'm going to tell you right now. In 2001, he played the week leading up to when they played Miami. They have some tradition where they hit the little gong or whatever, like the whole day or whatever they do. I went on campus with my University of Miami gear. I went up to the people that was hitting the gong. I stopped them. I threw stuff at them. And then I went in the Union and ate lunch there. Like, y'all can't touch that.
Really?
So, I mean, it's real life. And I had cousins, we all up at Florida State with our Miami gear, like, daring y'all to try it. You know what I mean? And we still wouldn't let you. But I'm just saying.
I'm you're brave doing that. I mean, with doing stuff like that, you probably would have got robbed. I'm just saying.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that,
all right.
That's pretty bold right there.
That is bold.
I would have thought you would have got checked for doing something like that.
Exactly. Can't chin check or something.
Nah, it's a lot of people from Miami. A lot of people from Miami that go to Florida State. They just go to school there.
Yeah.
Well, I wanna real quick on Winston, real quick. Tampa lost this past weekend. They're secured. They're definitely going to have the second pick in the draft at the least. If you were Tampa, and you had the number one pick in the draft, Tampa's going to be first. If you were had the number one pick in the draft, who would you take? Who would you take? Ask Shot-Town first. Who would you take?
So Tampa had the number one pick?
If you were Tampa, you had the number one overall pick in the draft. Who would you?
Who would I pick? That's a very good question.
Oh man, I mean, dang.
Because
Can't say
you
nothing.
want to go
Guys
ahead.
hasn't declared yet.
Hey,
Oh,
everybody, hold on, everybody. We got Chi-Town that's actually going to say who the number one pick is. Not Carzell telling us who Chi-Town saying
Okay,
is the number
I won't
one
say
pick.
anything.
It's
I won't say anything.
actually Chi-Town.
I know because that's what I was gonna say, but we still can't say if he's gonna be number one or not. You know, he may and may not. And, you know, they might go another direction, or they might decide to trade down to get more picks.
But if you weren't going to trade down, who would you take with the number one overall pick in the draft? The number one player on the board.
Number one player on the board. That sounds good.
I don't know, Pazel. I mean, I kind of split on it. I don't know, man. If you mess up and take that and it turns to be a spill, then I'm out of a job. You can't mess that position up. You can't mess that up, man.
I take Winston and have him groom behind what's his name, McCown and all of them, so we can go ahead and do his thing later on.
So you definitely take Winston over Mariota.
It's one of those two, either or.
Yeah, I'm taking Winston, obviously.
I mean, 'cause they need a quarterback. Obviously, Tampa Bay needs a quarterback because McCown, he's on his way out anyway. So, with that being said, they need a quarterback to go ahead and get him moving. Best bet is go ahead and take the best one on board.
Yeah, and I think the best one's Winston. Ed, what's your...
Well, me, it's a hard situation because I just thought about Cooper from Alabama. But me, I would take James Winston. You know, I'm a Tampa native, born and raised. Every year the problem in Tampa is the quarterback. So you got every first round quarterback we get tends to leave. So I say we should try to go at it again this year and get James Winston, man, number one pick. I think we're gonna get because I'm pretty sure they're gonna lose this weekend. So I would say take James Winston.
Well, I think who's gonna lose the weekend?
The Buccaneers gonna lose, man.
Okay.
Yeah, Tampa's gonna have the number one pick in the draft. Now, I've been on record. I've been on record on this show. I think he will be a superstar player, top 5 quarterback. Yeah, he will be in the top 5 at some point down the road because I think that he has the accuracy, he has the big game ability, and he can make all the NFL throws. I mean, when you need him to make a play, he will deliver. You know, I mean, I understand he's threw picks this year, and I know James will highlight that. But I think that Jameis Winston is undefeated. I mean, that trumps all those stats that James is about the interceptions. The guy hasn't lost a game. He's brought his team back in every single game this year. He's the winningest. He has the highest winning percentage of any quarterback in history of college football. So
that's the thing that has me heated. I mean, because for the record, why is it that they are number 3, undefeated, and 2 teams ahead of them has lost the game already, and they're ranked high?
Media.
Well, I mean,
they only African Americans to succeed. That's the reason.
Exactly. But Ed, I equate this to. I think I said this, and everybody on there laughed at me. I said I don't think he's like this person in terms of his persona, but I think when he gets in the league, he will be viewed the Allen Iverson of the NFL because yeah, I'm telling you because nobody's gonna like him. He's gonna be a superstar player, but nobody's gonna like him. He doesn't act like Allen Iverson, but what I'm saying is he's a different type of individual and he's non-conforming. That's what Allen Iverson was. He didn't conform to what people wanted him to be. And Jameis Winston's that kind of dude. And I think that when he gets in the league, that's going to be his personality when he gets in the league. And a lot of people aren't going to like that. He's going to be the most hated player in the NFL when he gets in the league. I really believe that. And if he's a really good player, he's really going to be hated.
Well, look at the division of quarterbacks he's got to deal with. He got to deal with Drew Brees in New Orleans. He got to deal with Cam Newton out in Carolina. And what's the name? Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
3 elite quarterbacks in his division he's going to deal with at least twice a year.
I don't think Cam Newton's an elite quarterback. Cam Newton is not an elite quarterback to me.
He not?
No, he's not elite. No.
Oh, man.
No, he's elite. No.
I ain't saying elite. I'm just saying decent.
What did you say? I don't think he's
I
elite.
ain't saying elite. I'm saying decent. I ain't saying elite.
Oh, defense, you said he's elite. Decent. You said decent?
I said decent, not elite. I mean, only elite quarterback.
Oh, okay, my bad.
But he's done regressed for so
okay,
long.
yeah. I'll give you decent, yeah.
I mean, shoot, they're all decent. I mean, like I said, the only elite one I see is Drew Brees, but he's been taking a step back because of I don't even know. Let's off of that one. But like I'm saying, when he goes to that division, he's going to be dealing with that on a daily basis. I agree with you. If he's good, he's going to go ahead and be vilified regardless because of the way he's been, the way media has went on ahead and profiled him up until now.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, the thing is...
No, go ahead.
Yeah. And what's your take on what's your take on this, Steve? What's your take on my opinion of Jameis Winston?
I mean, I can't argue with what you've seen the man live, not just on TV. I mean, you can't argue what you've seen. The man has all the intangibles to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. And had their little chuckles in the background, whatever they want to say, because y'all want to give Clausell a hard time about that. But
whatever.
With that being,
hi, Mom. What?
I keep going, Steve.
What?
Yeah, keep going. Keep talking.
The man's a proven winner, and winning progresses to the next level. The man is ready, and I think he's gonna be the number 1 pick. They got Marcus Mariota as the number 1 pick for Tampa Bay, but I don't think that's gonna. I think they're gonna pick Jameis.
I do too. I think so too. And I think because the thing is, what happened was Marcus Mariota has been the number 1 pick, but when Jameis Winston was the number 1 pick. Then it went to Marcus Mariota when Jameis Winston started having his off the field issues. Jameis Winston went to number 25. Now he jumped all of a sudden to number 8. He jumped to number 8, and then he jumped to number 6. I'm like, how do you go from 25 to 8? And nothing has changed in your game. And really, your game has really gone. You threw more picks since then, but yet you jumped from 25 to 8. So that already let me know that they already have it in their minds that Jameis Winston is going to be the number 1 pick. I mean, if you threw more picks and you move up the draft board still, they already think that this guy's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Probably telling me it's rigged.
Oh, come on, man.
I mean, I think, all I'm saying is rigged. I think that Mel Kiper put him back there because out of some precautionary reason, but deep down, he knows that Jameis Winston is the number 1 pick in the draft. Deep down, Mel Kiper knows that Jameis Winston is the best quarterback in the draft. And I think that he will be the number 1 overall pick in this draft.
Oh,
okay.
God.
I mean, I'm sorry to say. I mean, I do agree with you on that one, though. But don't be surprised if Mariota goes ahead and jumps in and Winston becomes his number 2. That has happened in the past.
Oh, man.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, James. Go ahead, James. I know you got something to say. Go ahead.
I mean, we're going through this week after week after week, man.
But
this whole thing about 25 to number 8 to number 2 and all, I'm like, man, look, the thing is that with the NFL teams and that type of stuff, you got to see what the team needs are for these teams that are, picking at certain spots. So if, say, for example, if the Tennessee Titans need a quarterback and they end up at number 2 or number 1, then you're going to put either Mariota or Winston at one of those 2 spots because they're the top 2 quarterback prospects there right now. Because, of course, Clausell ain't going to put Brett Hundley up there in that list, so that's
nope.
But
that guy, he's not a top 5 quarterback. No.
But the thing is that as far as the Tampa Bay Bucks are concerned, they need a lot. I would say they need a lot more help than quarterback. In either one of these quarterbacks wouldn't be enough for Tampa Bay to make any serious moves or.
I don't know about that. I kind of disagree with that. I think
Well,
they have a pretty good. I don't know about that.
The only way with that is because it's the NFC South, and over the past 4 or 5 years or so, the NFC South has basically had like a different division champ year after year. Other than Carolina, because if Carolina wins this week, they'll be a repeat champ. But the other thing is that Tampa Bay has pretty much been at or near the bottom for the past couple of years or so. I'm not sure if there'll be any significant difference from this year to next year, regardless of who they pick. If they trade down and get more picks, I would pretty much go down with them, trade down to get more picks because they need line. They need help at quarterback. Defense, well, the front four might be good, but I'm not sure on the linebackers. All the linebackers there. So they got a little bit more that they have to build on than just, picking up one quarterback and saying that might change everything for that team.
Well, I ain't saying one quarterback is going to change everything. They need help, period. But I'm saying quarterbacks
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need help, period.
I know. I agree with you. They need help, period, but a quarterback would be a good start.
Yeah, it would be a good
start. The not going to last that long.
It would be a good start.
Exactly. I think the quarterback's the most important position they need. I think they're good at linebacker. I think they're good at defensive line. I think they have a decent secondary. I think that they have a decent young receiver. They may need some help in the running game. I think.
Hold on, you said they had a good young receiver, right?
Yeah, Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans, right? He's pretty much going to be the star receiver of that team, right?
Him and Vincent Jackson.
By design.
I was about to say, Vincent Jackson, you can't sleep on that.
Yeah. I know you can't sleep on Vincent Jackson, but it seemed like that VJ was basically being the I would say the flanker, and Lee Evans basically became split in after a few weeks. So I think for the deep balls, they're pretty much going to go to Mike Evans for that.
Okay. I see that.
but I'm just saying they're a quarterback away.
I don't know.
So you think they're going to
a team? You think they need a lot of help? I don't think they need a lot of help as much as you think. I think they're a quarterback away.
And Clausel, you might be right with that because I watched Tampa Bay games, and if they had a decent quarterback to do something, they probably would have pulled a lot of those games out. So
instead of going,
you might be right with where you're going with that.
This team pretty much. But the thing is they made mistakes here and there. They lost a few of those close games. What was it? The Minnesota. Minnesota game and that Cincinnati game where I was rolling because that Minnesota game where Perry Jenkins fumbled the ball, and then the thing with Cincinnati where Marvin Lewis called that timeout. I'm like, man, when you have stuff like that happen it's like you can do anything that you can, and you still can't pull out a game. You know what I mean? So. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a few more things that have to bounce their way a little bit more on the defensive side, cause a little bit more turnovers here and there, make some plays on the ball.
So, they can't. No, I disagree. I think Tampa's problem is they have to go offensive side of the ball, first of all, because they can't score points at all. They haven't scored more than 30 points this whole year. So my thing is this. They have to get a quarterback. They have the offensive weapons. They have the receivers. They have a decent running game. They need a quarterback to run the offense effectively, and they don't have that right now. So their only two picks.
You're right.
The only thing they have to get is a quarterback. They get either Winston or Mariota. And my thing is, if you want to win a championship, you can't go conservative. I know Jameis Winston has off-the-field issues. If you're trying to win a championship, you better take a gamble on Winston because Mariota, he just plays these little gimmicky spread read option offenses. He doesn't play a pro style offense.
In other words, you're trying to tell me he's a conservative quarterback.
I don't think his Oregon quarterbacks translate to the NFL. Just give me one.
They haven't. They never have.
Name me one Florida State quarterback that's translated to the NFL while you're at it.
But name me one Florida State quarterback that has played like Winston.
Come on, man.
Give me one.
You had your boy Chris Winky that almost won 3 national championships. 3.
So you think he was better than Winston? Chris Winky at Florida State was better than Winston last year. Pick any 3 years.
But look what Chris Winky was doing in 3 years. You talking about 1? I'm talking about 3. So if you want to talk,
well, look what Winston has done it too. Winston ain't lost one game. What are you talking about? Winston ain't lost one game.
Calm down, man. Damn.
Like, oh
okay,
my
I'm calm.
No,
he's speaking up for him.
No, because he wants to talk about Winston not losing one game. While Chris Winky had those type of teams that he had with Peter Ward and Trav Minor and those type of athletes there. But Jameis Winston didn't have athletes on the field either, like he did it all.
No, I'm not saying he didn't have the athletes. I just think that if I look at Charlie Ward, if I look at Chris Winky, and I look at Jameis Winston's best years, I think Jameis Winston had a better year out of all 3.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily translate immediately in the NFL. We can't see that.
Okay, we don't know yet, but I'm just going by what I see. I see a guy that has a better feel for the game than Marcus Mariota. I see a guy that's more accurate than Marcus Mariota. I see a guy that has bigger big game play ability than Marcus Mariota. And I see a guy that has a championship pedigree. So, I mean, it's an easy pick for me. I mean, you can go all man all you want to. I'm just telling the truth, man. I mean, I want to get some other feedback in here. Ed, you guys talk, man. What's your take on it?
I can't wait till this game on January 1st. So we'll see.
I can't wait either. I'm chopping at the lip. I'm chopping at the bit here.
That's going to be a interesting game. That's going to be a game that basically, to me, that's going to be a national championship right there. I'm sorry.
You think so?
Either team, whichever team wins that game, I'm rooting for them in the national championship game. I'm not going for Alabama or Ohio State in the national championship.
Man, Alabama, you know what? That's the reason why I say this whole college playoff thing is rigged. Because tell me why is it Alabama and Ohio State, two well-known college programs, they get the number 2 pick, they get number 1, number 2, and like I said, Florida State gets number 3. If I remember correctly, Alabama's lost the game and Ohio State has lost the game. I don't know how to say the schedule. Please tell me.
And they lost to Virginia.
Let me tell you why. I'm asking you a question why. Again, I've been saying it from the beginning. They don't want African Americans to get the Heisman or the national championship. That's the situation. That's why they run like that.
Hold on.
They won't to get a Heisman.
Who's the quarterback for Alabama, though?
Yeah, I was about to say, who's quarterback in those 2 schools? Yeah, I was about to say, who's quarterback
for those 2 schools? James, it's different with Winston.
Oh, no.
Blake Sims, he follows the program. Blake Sims follows the program. Jameis Winston doesn't follow the program. That's the difference right there.
No,
that's the difference.
Hey, have y'all heard anything about Blake Sims?
What'd you say?
Y'all heard it? You heard anything negative about Blake Sims?
No, nope. Blake Sims, he assimilates to what the standard is. Jameis Winston doesn't assimilate. America's view of him is an arrogant thug. That's America's view of Jameis Winston. So they don't like him. Blake Sims, he don't say anything. He does exactly what Nick Saban tells him to do.
He's like the little angel that sits in the background that doesn't say anything while Winston Jameson does his own thing. He ain't no puppet.
Exactly.
And that's why Blake.
And America don't like that. America doesn't like that. And the same thing.
Somebody they can control. Somebody they can go ahead and do what they do. Basically, what boils down.
Exactly. And Jameis Winston is not like that. And when you couple that with his high intellect off the field, see, it's different right there. It's different with. Oh yeah. See how you want to laugh. See, the thing with Allen Iverson was he was non-conforming, but Allen Iverson wasn't really that intelligent of a guy academically. Whereas Jameis Winston, he's non-conforming, but he's a highly intelligent guy in the classroom. So that when you mix a guy that's non-conforming and very intelligent, that's very threatening. That's very threatening to society.
I feel that. Well, thanks for answering my question right there. But like I said, though, I think, like I said, in my opinion, Florida State got hoes being the number 3 pick, and something like I said, Alabama and Ohio State, they're ranked higher, and yet they got lost. That's just my thing. I just go, bro. I just go Florida State wins. That's my thing.
But I mean, you have Alabama because they're SEC. That's pretty much the gist of that. I mean, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. How Alabama didn't really drop that far after they lost to Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? But you have Florida State winning close games against Notre Dame and Miami and that type of thing, and they're dropping in the poll. So we kind of gone through that already. But I think they pretty much set this up to where they could get the most out of each matchup. So with that Oregon Florida State versus Mariota, so they get anything bigger than that in the final game, and then you got it against Urban Meyer and the other one. So that's how they pushed it.
All right, we can curve the conversation here.
All right, good topic.
Somebody doing dishes
now,
back there, man.
I got a question.
Yeah, somebody
I got a
doing
question
no
for you
dishes.
guys. What's your take on Johnny Manziel and his future in the NFL as a quarterback? Do you think he will be a decent quarterback at some point in the future, or you think he's just going to be a bust based on what you've seen so far this season, what he's done the past 2-3 games? Let me start with you, Ed. What's your take?
Well, me personally, I haven't seen enough of Johnny Manziel. Everything you've seen, you expect. You expect interceptions. You expect to not know the offense that well. You expect the sacks, especially when they said that Johnny Manziel was not preparing to play this year. And you can tell when he got on the field to play. So everything I see that I've seen, I expected, and he has a chance to be a starter in the league. He just needs time, and that's what they might not give him. So we just have to wait and see. That's all I have to say.
Okay. James, what's your take?
Now, it may seem like it was expected to see Manziel perform the way he did. The thing about it is that you would have to go back to the preseason or the beginning of the season. I mean, you have Brian Hoyer there at quarterback, to be the starter. And when people think Brian Hoyer, they're not thinking that he's any type of, not even a top tier or even a mid-grade type quarterback in the National Football League. So if you have Johnny Manziel out there, in preseason and workouts and that type of thing, and he can't beat out Brian Hoyer to be the starting quarterback, then that might signal a red flag as far as his overall skills here in the league. With what happened as far as like when he was out there in the game, I guess trying to make plays on his own, improvising, that really doesn't work that much in the NFL, especially with the person the size of Johnny Manziel. You see what happened with RG3, even though his first initial injury with his knee pretty much came while he was in the open field, so to speak, but still playing the way that he plays, he puts himself at risk. Same case goes with Johnny Manziel. If he's going to, do the stuff, try to run out of the pocket and try to make plays that way, he's putting himself at risk against, bigger linebackers, safeties, corners, and defensive ends that could, pretty much catch up to him. Then he might not last that long in the league.
You talking about Johnny Manziel? I think it's a story you're seeing with RG3. Yeah, I know Kelly Mike was saying, I think we was talking about that back in preseason when they were saying that he really wasn't looking too good. And, he came in and the game he played where they got blown out, didn't show anything in the next game. He gets hurt with the hammy, so I don't know, man. I don't know. if he does, it might have to be a fit, you know. Will he still have the same offensive coordinator or someone that can cater to his game, like how, you know, I thought Drew Brees was real good in San Diego. I thought they made a mistake letting him go because he was a good quarterback.
I agree.
And, you know, he took it to another level with Sean Payton, and then, you know, then you look at Russell Wilson with Darrell Bevell. He definitely helped him out. So I mean, what the question is Johnny, will he have that support system? And so far, you know, since Cleveland existed, since they've been back, they really haven't had no support system with the quarterback. So I don't know. And like our favorite friend in the Tennessee Vow and caller Tony Wiley kept saying that, yeah, you don't think Johnny gonna last in the AFC North in that division with them Steelers, and you know they gonna get their defense going, and you got the Ravens, and you all saw what them Bengals did to Peyton Manning. That defense, they was going after them, and that defense is young. They gonna be good for a good minute. So you got a battle in that division, man.
Yeah,
but the good thing
I agree.
But the good thing he does go against the Browns defense in practice, so that definitely can make them better. But man, I mean, it's tough, man. I don't know. He said he's gonna be a better quarterback next year, so we'll see. He's gonna have a lot of pressure on him, man.
Yeah, personally, I think he's a little short to play the position a little bit. It kind of seems like I don't know. Russell Wilson's a little bit thicker, so he's about Russell Wilson's size, but Russell Wilson's a little thicker.
A little quicker though, too.
And
he's quicker. I think he's more of a better athlete than Johnny.
You think so?
Yep. Of course, he played baseball and all. He's just.
Yeah, it just seems like Russell Wilson has a little bit better escapability. I don't know.
I mean, running back.
I need to see more of Johnny. I thought Johnny had more escapability than Russell, but maybe he doesn't, because it seems like Russell Wilson can escape pretty well, and he's thick enough to take the hits. Not that Johnny should be taking hits or anything like that, but I could see if Johnny took a hit, you know, he'd be hurt bad. I don't know if he can sustain that for a long time. So he's going to have to learn how to escape, slide, but then at the same time, he's going to have to learn eventually how to throw from the pocket and throw it without the play breaking down, then going out of the pocket to deliver the pass. He needs to learn how to drop back, process, read the defense, and deliver the ball. So hopefully he can do that. I think he'll be a very good player, but if he can't do that, then I think that, you know, he'll be out the league pretty soon.
Because everybody know how everybody's kind of. Because I think personally, I don't know. Most of y'all might agree with it. I think RG3 was better than 10 times better than Johnny Manziel, and I think that's another reason why I kind of not too sure of wanting him coming to my Bears. And they've been saying his name possibly. You know, he from Oak Park, Illinois. Mike Shanahan. I think Mike Shanahan ruined RG3's career, man. You know, I'm playing out there with that knee. I don't think he's ever going to be the same player, man. So that's the only thing about that. And Johnny, you know, like I said, he get a good injury like that, you know, like you said, learn to develop his game in the pocket, which I don't know. Like you said, he is short. He might not, you know, last in the NFL. And I heard that he wasn't even supposed to be they had him graded not even being a first-round pick. They had him being like maybe a sixth-round pick. That's what Merrill Hodge, y'all heard what Merrill Hodge said about Johnny. He's saying he thought that Johnny, his grade, Manziel was like a sixth-round pick. He said whoever had drafted Johnny Manziel should be fired because, you know, that's mad for guys that, I mean, he's wasting time for guys that was better, and you have him playing out there where you might have to give up a guy that was better or pass because you thought all about the Johnny show, and then he turned out to be a flop. And he's thinking like a lot of people, I think him, I'm not sure if Dilfer was with him, but he was just saying that whoever drafted him should be fired.
Steve, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did y'all watch Johnny Manziel in college?
Yeah.
I saw him up in there.
Did you think running around, creating plays was really going to transcend to the NFL like that?
Well, no, not really. I do. I think so.
Why would you? I mean, okay, look. the man obviously doesn't spend enough time studying film. He barely studied film in college. So what makes you think he was going to the light bulb was going to turn on and he was going to start studying film and taking it more seriously? He made the comment that he wasn't taking it as seriously. He wasn't prepared. I mean, when you're an NFL quarterback, I hate to go back to Jameis Winston, he's going to be prepared. Johnny Manziel was not prepared, and he wasted the whole year, pretty much. Carlos Dansby went off on Buddy. You know what I mean? So he was seeing what was going on at the meetings and practices and everything else. He wasn't taking it seriously. So for him to be successful in the NFL, he's got to get serious. He's undersized, and he does weigh more than Russell Wilson by 3 pounds. But
he does?
Between Johnny, yeah, he does. He's 209 and Russell Wilson's 206. But the thing is, it's like Russell Wilson is a different type dude, though. I mean, the man is very, very highly intelligent. Highly intelligent. Studies film, work hard. He's not in the spotlight like Johnny Manziel was in college. He did his time. He went to NC State. He played those 3 years where he had to run for his life because they had a terrible offensive line, and they really didn't have nobody there. Then he goes to Wisconsin where it's a pro-style type offense, mostly run-based, but he was able to do his thing in a system. He was able to learn a different system. We don't know if Johnny Manziel can learn a different system because he barely did the system that he was doing in college the way it was supposed to be done because he was creating plays almost every other play. So, I mean, NFL, those guys are a lot faster, a lot smarter. They're going to spy. They're going to be waiting on you. And obviously, if he doesn't understand that he's got to change something about him, he's not going to make it. By year 4, he'll be out of the league. I mean, I was never excited about the guy. But, you know, in college, you can look like an all-star. But when you get to the NFL, these are grown men.
Exactly. Like you said, bigger, faster, and stronger. That's the thing, too, you could say about his maturity, like all that stuff that was going on last year, you know. I thought maybe he could have stayed another year. I mean, you know, his numbers were a little bit, you know, their record was better, but I'm saying his numbers, like they said, was better, but I thought maybe he could have stayed another year. That's my personal opinion, but, hey, he wanted to go pro. But, yeah, he got like Steve said, you know, his maturity level, I mean, as a quarterback, I mean, you're the leader, and pretty much, you know, without a hype, you're pretty much going to be the franchise. And that type of guy, you know, we don't know if he's going to be a franchise quarterback, but still, if you're going to be taking the first round, if you take quarterback first round, that's pretty much saying the team thinks highly of you and pretty much think that you can be their franchise quarterback. So all that stuff he was saying that he was going to Vegas and all that stuff, playing all that stuff, he should have been getting it going, studying film, taking, you know, studying the game instead of all that partying and stuff, because we all know the game, you know, the game is still going to be there. That partying, you know, hey, like you said, you're out of the league, you're going to be partying all you want to, you're going to be out of the NFL. So he's going to have to decide which is more important. And we'll see this offseason. If we still see the same stuff that's happened before, then he don't get it.
Cool. Man, like I said, I agree with you, though, in that case. Another year for him, staying in college would have helped him out. I mean, to me, he came out too early, and now he's trying to go ahead and get by doing the same stuff you did in college as in the NFL. It's not going to work that way. I mean, like you all was talking before, you got better receivers, bigger, faster people. they gonna call it to him. If he doesn't change the way he's playing his game, like actually going to the playbook, trying to learn the game, I give him at least 2-3 years tops.
I was going to say this, you all. Do you all think that Cleveland kind of made a mistake of pulling Hoyer out and putting Johnny Manziel in, even though the team was still kind of competing for a playoff spot?
They really had no choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, Hoyer's horrible.
I mean, they really had no choice, in my opinion, because Hoyer sucks, Manziel, he's not really fully groomed yet. So basically, they were just picking and choosing at this point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that pretty much tells you, like, when you have Brian Hoyer there at quarterback and Johnny Manziel couldn't beat him out, then, yeah, you got a problem.
That's what County Mike was saying. He kept saying about, he was right about Hoyer. He said, man, dude was looking pretty bad. Like you saying, he can't. Like you was just saying, he can't get in over Hoyer. Then something is wrong because the way he was looking, they were saying. I guess the team kind of lost faith in Hoyer too. So I didn't really know much about that. I heard it on the radio. They kind of wasn't too sure about him. Like kind of, they just lost hope with him on offense, and that's something I guess. Because like I said, they got some good young talent though. You got the receiver Gordon if he get his head straight. Then you got a nice, you got Joe Thomas, one of the best, one of the top 5 tackles, left tackles in the NFL. And you got a Pro Bowl center. I mean, he broke his leg, but you still got 2 Pro Bowlers on your offensive line. And then they got a good young defense. I mean, I think they got the pieces in place. The thing is, big question, which we're going to probably hear all offseason, is the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. All right,
so y'all know the quarterback.
I want to say something, too. If anybody wants to call in the show, 347-237-5539, you got to call within the next 10 minutes. It seems like we're going to go to overtime within the next 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 48 seconds to be exact. So if you want to call in, state your opinion, please call in between now and the next 9 minutes, please. Now, let's curve the discussion now to Peyton Manning. There's been a lot since the past few games that Denver has played. A lot of people think that Peyton Manning is starting to lose a step in regards to his game. Do you think that is so? And also, do you think that what do you think Denver's chances to win it all this year, since they won't have home field advantage? Let's go. Let's start with James. Let's start with James.
Ooh, boy.
Well, I mean, that last game there was, probably one of his most sloppiest games that he's had, over the past, 4 or 5 years, with the exception of last year's Super Bowl. It was like timing was off. Those were really erratic, missing a good number of throws, and, he wasn't hitting his receivers. And it seemed like, they were kind of like hitting their stride, because it wasn't looking like they were basically relying on the passing game, much. They were getting C.J. Anderson involved because he was, kind of performing well. So it's not like, he's, slinging the ball left and right, every single game. He pretty much, kind of mixed it up a little bit with Anderson out there and, a couple of other running backs. But against defenses like Cincinnati, and you saw hints of it against Buffalo also, that when he goes against defenses that are, pretty good, he hasn't really adjusted well. And, being a stationary quarterback like he is, either if you got a good pass rush, you're going to pretty much get him, because he's pretty much, throwing the ball out there in the next, 3 or 4 seconds, he's in big trouble. So with that, they'll pretty much be the number 2 seed if they win this game this week. That may be good enough to get them 1 game, but they might slip up and end up facing Cincinnati once again in the divisional round if Cincinnati beats Pittsburgh this week. So it could be number 2 Denver against number 3 Cincinnati again over in Mile High. So we'll pretty much see if he'll be able to get up and up, even with the injury that he has, because that really has affected him these past couple of weeks.
Oh. Let's see. My opinion is Peyton. I mean, Denver winning it all? Nah, too many obstacles they got in the way, especially with New England still kind of holding the high spot.
Okay.
Of course, I'm going to still ride with it because they was my Super Bowl pick. I mean, I say it's going to be now or never. I mean, after last year, it's mental now. Denver, the money they spent on defense and the additions they had, I think if they don't get there, I don't think they're ever going to get there. So I'm still sticking with it. That Cincinnati game, I give them credit. Cincinnati, they another team though. When James said Cincinnati, to me, we say St. Louis is a quarterback away. I think Cincinnati is a quarterback away. Like we was chatting, I was saying Andy Dalton is not that guy. Come on, I got a mute for a sec. Okay.
Yeah.
I just think they just need a quarterback because that defense. I mean, they was attacking Peyton Manning. They was being physical. They was getting after him. I mean, they was hungry. They wanted a little bit more because they was fighting for a playoff spot. But I mean, the game was sloppy. He threw 4 interceptions. The rain. I mean, even with all that, they still had a chance to win that game. Denver was just. I'm not going to doubt them, but we'll see what happens this coming Sunday, though. But they know they got to win if they want to get that second seed. But I think Pittsburgh is going to beat. I think Pittsburgh is going to beat Cincinnati, though. It's going to come down to the quarterback play, and I think Ben Roethlisberger is, of course, 100 times better than Andy Dalton.
Okay. Well, and I want to get into that real quick. Like, speaking of that, if Cincinnati loses in the first round of the playoffs, should Marvin Lewis lose his job?
I'm glad you brought
Hell
that
up.
No.
Hell no. Hell no. Excuse my French, y'all. Hell no. I mean, it's like this. If Cincinnati, if they do that, they be crazy. But like we all been saying, it's hard to find a quarterback. Though I think they made a mistake. I think if that does happen, Cincinnati got to look for another quarterback, man. Either draft. I mean, I don't say draft. I mean, maybe that route, but they got to look for another quarterback. Like losing the first round. Because, it's, like I said, they got the talent. They don't have a quarterback.
Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. In the NFL, they want to win. They want to get a Super Bowl. Making it to the playoffs ain't going to cut it. You saw what they did to Lovey. We like what you did for the franchise, but you got to go, buddy. And if Marvin Lewis doesn't make it past the first round, he should be out of there. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There should be no question. You had enough time. We thank you for what you've done, but it's time to move on. You can blame it on Andy Dalton all you want. You can blame it on the coordinator, Jay Gruden leaving and Zimmerman out of there. You can blame it on all that. But at the end of the day, you still look at the head coach. He's responsible for what's going on with that franchise. And obviously what you've been doing has not been cutting it enough to make it to the next level. So my thing is he should go. I'm sorry. He's been there too long. Y'all had too many high hopes, too much promises. Now you need to bring results. You got to go if you don't make it past this first round. I'm sorry.
They was my dark horse team last year, to do something, and they disappointed me how they lost to San Diego.
I mean, hey, if Tampa Bay could get rid of Tony Dungy after, getting them to the NFC Championship game and then to the playoffs that next year, then, I mean, anything could basically happen. If you've taken the team to basically its peak, and if the first round is about as good as they could get, then if they don't see them getting anywhere further than that, they're not going to get rid of the players first. They're going to get rid of the coach first.
So,
yep.
But if that happens, who y'all sit in to bring in? Because they let Marvin Lewis go. He's been there for so long. There got to be somebody that has to be proven. I know it has to be someone who's been proven, who has some jury or something. They're going to make that change. Not someone who's never been a head coach before.
And right. This is why I disagree with letting him go 1,000%. I'm glad you guys brought this comment up because I was appalled that Stephen A. Smith said the same comment on First Take yesterday. Out of all the coaches in the league that you say that need to be fired and let go, you're going to talk about Marvin Lewis, the African-American coach, when there's been European coaches for years losing, not even scratching the surface of what he's doing, and they ain't talking about letting him go. Why do he got to go? And you guys saying that the Bengals have expectations. Do you really expect for the Bengals to win? Come on, we're talking about the Bengals, man. The Bengals. They don't have a lot of good talent since Carson Palmer left, and since Usman Zito left. I mean, that's all they had, them three.
But just like the point you just said,
the team getting better every year. What he doing? He working what he got. Give him spend some money. Then say, oh, he needs to go. You don't have much. Andy Dalton's a suspect quarterback. He working what he got.
I say this though. Cincinnati though, to me, Carson Palmer, that the roster they had with him, Chad, TJ, and all those guys. Man, I thought Carson Palmer was the second coming. Pretty much how they were comparing him to Peyton Manning. I thought he was going to be the second coming to Peyton. When he had that injury,
they didn't have a defense.
When he had that injury and he tore his ACL, he just never really was the same player after that. Cause I knew how good he was when I saw how he beat Baltimore on the road, man. That man was going like, man, we finally got it, because I thought it was a mistake them replacing John Kitna and putting Carson Palmer in, but of course they had to do it because Carson Palmer was the number one pick. And when he came in there in his first year starting out there and came in class, how he played against Baltimore, I'm like, man, they got something special with Carson Palmer. But it just, when he had that injury and everything, they had to start over. He really wasn't the same after that. And now, Marvin Lewis finally has a defense, a real good defense there, but he just don't have no quarterback.
At the end of the day, do you really expect the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl at the end of the day? No. So the fans should be happy. The media should be happy. You don't expect them to win.
They in the hunt, nigga. They competitive with it, but right now, they get in the playoffs. I say it's good, but you're looking in the playoffs, you're going to get a Peyton Manning, and you got Tom Brady. You got Ben Roethlisberger, who's the best quarterback in that division, who's going to hunt them 2 times a year. It's tough. And also, in San Diego, they still clinging too. I think they are the wild card, but yeah.
So if you look at it, he's not doing that bad then.
It's a good quarterback.
Well, you can say that, but it's just like Peyton Manning when he does all those good things in the season, but then falls short when he gets when the spotlight is really on. He did it one time. Congratulations. But I'm sorry,
Peyton Manning to win though.
I'm saying you got to win. I'm sorry. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. And the culture has to be changed. Just like the comment he just said, come on, we're talking about the Bengals. Well, maybe they don't want to be classified as, come on, we're talking about the Bengals. So that's how I feel about it. Like, we've been talking about the Bengals as being disappointing every year in the playoffs. That's what I've been seeing. And they got a decent defense.
But it's also that, that somebody brought up the Bengals, like, they're the Bengals, and if it wasn't for, Carson Palmer or Boomer Esiason and Ickey Woods, and they wouldn't be much of a franchise. Well, you had other franchises like that as well. Look at Tampa Bay. As a franchise, who was worse than Tampa Bay? And then before them, it was the New England Patriots. You see how Tampa Bay was able to change it up for a little bit and get to where they got to with that one Super Bowl win. And then look at the New England Patriots right now, one of the most respected franchises in the National Football League. And I think that the fans in Cincinnati want to get to at least near that level that New England is. And if you get to a peak where you're only getting to the first round of the NFL playoffs and not getting any further, then, yeah, you're going to have a change. Whether it's for the better or for the worse, you're going to have a change.
I think if they do make a change, they're going to have to bring someone who knows offense.
To change the offseason, they need to spend some money in the offseason. That's what I see. Because they ain't going to get no draft winning too much. Spend some money.
I was saying this. I think I was saying during the chat when we were chatting. I think Kyle Orton would have been a good fit for him. He's not super, but he's a guy who don't make costly turnovers in the defense they got, and they can run the ball. I think he's a more adequate quarterback than they had with Dalton. But they missed out on him going to Buffalo. But they got to get somebody that's kind of, they're not going to get no first-tier guy, but someone that's kind of close to that outside there. That's a backup. Even though I said Michael Vick, I thought, we all know, y'all don't think he's going to end up going there, which is probably most likely not. I thought he'd have been all right for Cincinnati. At this point, he's a veteran. All he has to do is just, don't turn over the ball, make the plays, and their defense do what they got to do. But, Everybody keep thinking, okay, the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl without a good quarterback, but hey, that's been almost 14 years, a decade and 4 years. We ain't gonna ever see no defense like that. I mean, I don't think we ever gonna see a defense like that anytime soon, and that's been a decade and 4 years, almost going on close to being 20 years.
So is Joe Flacco an elite quarterback?
He's an elite quarterback. I would say yes. No.
I don't know about that.
I think he's like I give him since he won a Super Bowl, but he's just been kind of like somewhere between an above average quarterback, but not an elite though. I agree. He has been inconsistent. I think he because of his contract is the reason why Cutler and Kaepernick got their deals like that. Because they saw, okay, Joe Flacco got a deal like that, so he kind of raised the bar with his contract, and he saw how he flopped after the next year. I was like, man, the Ravens was crazy to give that man that much money, but you know they had to do what they had to do.
Yeah.
I have another topic I want to talk about too when y'all get some time. But I'll wait till Claudel change the topic first.
Yeah, we got a big week coming up, so week 17 stuff is not really all the way decided yet. So
yeah,
I guess you talk about was it Cam Newton with the Falcons and the Panthers, right?
Yeah,
correct.
So what you think about that? I mean, the game's gonna be in Atlanta, right? And they even with the season that the Panthers had, they could win the division once again.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think they're favored. The thing that I don't trust with the Atlanta Falcons is their defense. I mean, statistically, they're the worst defense in the league, giving up a lot of yards and also a lot of points. And I don't think that, they'll be able to do enough to, stymie Cam Newton out there, especially like how Cam and the Panthers were able to go into New Orleans and win with almost a similar type of defense that really lets up a lot of yards and a lot of points. And the Falcons pretty much the same way. I think, Julio Jones and Roddy White might be able to do something, but they're going to need more than those two in order for the Falcons to pull this one off.
I would say Cam Newton has to win this game.
You say it's all on Cam Newton, Eddie?
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say I'm gonna be real short because here's the thing: Cam Newton has to win this game. But like I think your name was James who was just talking, right?
Right.
Yeah. You said the Falcons are one of the worst defenses in the league, but also on the other hand, I'm sure you guys noticed Cam Newton has been the most sacked quarterback in the last few years. So do you think they're not going to try to blitz him with the accident he just had? So I think this is a funny matchup. So the line got to block him, which they haven't been doing. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. I'm done.
I mean, it is, but too, I think a little bit maybe favoring Carolina because you all heard that Mike Smith is pretty much going to be out as coach, so I don't know how much that's going to be a distraction knowing that you're going to be fired. And they've been saying that for the past really month ago, whatever they were saying reported, and they were saying that most likely he's going to get fired. So I don't know how everything is going down with it, the response of this team knowing that, really with their record-wise, they're not even a playoff team, but, they got a chance to win a division. I don't know, man. They had the talent on offense. Yeah, their defense is not as good, but I don't know. Cam Newton, Carolina, too, is another team. I mean, they had the highs last year. I don't understand. I guess maybe some of the stuff that was going on in the beginning where, they Hardy guy didn't play this year going on, the stuff with the discipline stuff, whatever, off the field stuff, whatever issue he had, I guess, the substance. I think that kind of played a role being a distraction. I just think the team never they didn't start off on a good foot. And then Jordan Gross retired, a franchise tackle. So I just never figured out how Carolina got into a slow start. They kind of underachieved, in my opinion, from being a number 2 seed last year.
Yeah.
No, it was a number 2 seed last year because San Francisco was on the road. So, I mean, I don't know, but we'll see.
Well,
I know Isaiah.
I think
Isaiah was saying that. Go ahead, James.
No, we were going to bring up, how Tex was pointing out what, Brandon LaFell and Steve Smith Sr. are doing with the teams that are there with right now. It's kind of a reflection to the supposed regression of Cam Newton as a quarterback. But a lot of people also point to, the underachieving of their backfield. Jonathan Stewart back there, and who's the other guy that's the running back for him?
D'Angelo Williams.
Yeah, D'Angelo Williams. So you had Stewart and Williams back there, and they're not performing up to their expectations. And for some people, they say that they haven't been doing that for the past 3 or 4 years. So when you have that there, then you put a whole lot of reliance on Cam Newton to make the plays, from the backfield, whether it's passing the ball or running the ball. And when you put too much reliance on that, type of quarterback, you're going to have a whole lot of wear and tear, which basically gave him that rib injury near the beginning of the year, and, also dealing with ankle injury as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know Kelly and Mike was always kind of talking about their backs. I mean, they got the talent. Stewart, he always hurt. That's what I'm saying. They got the running attack. And Greg Olsen is going to the Pro Bowl, our former Bear tight end. I still think he probably, and then they receiver they got from Benjamin from Florida State, they were talking about he's going to be a real good one for them. I mean, I just think probably need a couple little more weapons on the outside for Cam. Probably need that speedster guy, maybe another possession, just another receiver. I think they might be okay. But I know Kwazil kept saying he think they're going to run Cam Newton out of Carolina. I don't know, man. I don't think so.
That would be a good thing because they're not blocking for the man. That's the key.
That's another thing for it. The offensive line for Carolina has really been underwhelming. For Cam Newton to get all those sacks, in the pocket, basically says that they're not doing a good job blocking, and also with those 2 running backs. Another thing that, is a sign of a good running back is not what they do while they have the ball, but also what they do when they don't have the ball. And reading blitzes is a very important thing for running backs to be able to do. You got to be able to see if the safety's coming in from the inside or the outside or the linebacker and be able to pick them up and do a good enough job to give the quarterback, 1 or 2 more split seconds to get the ball to the receiver as they become open. So I think, if Cam had those type of protections there in the backfield, then he'd be able to perform a little bit better, and they would have a better record this year, than they really have right now, which is, 6-8-1 right now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they probably, or maybe, too, with Cam, he just, I know he probably thinking, damn, I lose my starting left tackle, a Pro Bowl tackle like Jordan Gross did announce a retirement kind of late. Maybe that kind of, shook up the offensive line. And I know Cam not trusting and believing in his offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah. And, guys, I kind of want to talk about a topic, another comment that Stephen A. Smith made, I think it was Tuesday or Monday, whatever. Yeah, Monday. So I'm sure you guys have heard about the shooting in New York or whatever, 2 cops. But what Stephen A. Smith said, something is kind of it just appalled me because for him to make those comments, it's like he is like shifting to the European point of view and like pretending like he doesn't know what's going on when he knows exactly what it's about African Americans. He had the gall to say on national television on First Take that he called that guy that killed him a coward. Okay, he said some other things. You know, but the problem I had was when he took it so far as to say that he's going to see now if LeBron James and those guys, even Skip Bayless said, if LeBron James, we're going to see if those guys wear shirts to honor those cops now. I said, what? Did he really just say that on national television? Did he really just make that comment?
Well, the thing about Stephen A. Smith is that he's pretty much had a muzzle around his mouth, or he's trying to cater to the crowd. I called him out over a month ago about the comments that he pretty much said on Mad Dog Sports Radio. He has the afternoon show on Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM, and he kind of like, you know, put the blame on, you know, what is it, like that whole little black-on-black crime little bit and whatnot and stuff like that. And that he kind of like put his own experience as a, you know, a way out, like, you know, people have no excuse, but he was kind of oblivious to the other obstacles that are placed on a lot of our people that prevent us from being as successful as we should be. So he pretty much really overlooked that, and I kind of called him out on it, and I'm still calling him out on it because he's with that last comment that you pretty much put up, it's like either he still doesn't get it or he's being paid off, one or the other. And to really say that in an arena that he's in kind of like says, well, wait a minute. That's what those people are saying about, you know, Charles Barkley, is that he's saying those things because they're giving him an avenue for it. Same case with Stephen A. Smith. And even though people should be pointing, you know, going to Stephen A. Smith for stuff like that, it's just that at the level or the type of stuff that he's saying is kind of way off kilter to what is actually happening in the overall scene of things here in society, in American society, that is. As far as I know, I don't know who the guy is that went in and shot those cops, or, you know, where it comes from, and this whole thing with this the backstory and all of that. I'm really not caring about that, because to me, overall, I think that type of stuff is trying to get people to react in a certain way. And usually if they're trying to get people to react in a certain way, then they're trying to get people to react in the wrong way, and then have them retaliate and say, hey, we should be doing this because they're reacting this way. And that's what I'm watching out for.
Yeah, I would have been fine if he would have just said, you know what, it's a sad situation, which it is, you know, that two cops got killed, kids ain't going to be like their father. I get that. I agree with that. But if you do go on and say LeBron James need to wear shirts now to honor those cops, you totally off topic. You know, you shouldn't be saying. I know he gets it. He's shifting to the European point of view. He gets it. He's just saying it just to say it. But we know he really should be saying it. But I also been bet off with him saying, you know what? Like I said, it was a sad situation. Somebody gonna be out there fighting left for that. But the same guy should wear shirts to honor these people. As many African Americans began killed historically, and right now in these past few months, people getting killed. Now he need to be called out, especially when he said like what you said. He goes on TV and says, yeah, I'm in the arena where we can do something about it. Him, Chris Broussard, Jamil Hill, they all talking on ESPN. We can do something about it. For him to make those comments, he need to get called out, man. He need to get called out.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that you would think that those people in that same arena should call them out on it. People like the Jamil Hills, the Michael Smiths, Michael Wilbon. They should be the ones that should actually either Well, if they don't do it like on ESPN out in public, then I mean, if they're meeting over in Los Angeles or Washington D.C. or Bristol, Connecticut, they should be like, hey, look, you can't be saying stuff like that on TV, you know, because if you're gonna call out LeBron James for like saying, you know, he should be wearing something about those cops. But at the same token, you had some other people saying that he should have said something about Tamir Rice and you know, the other guy that was there, that got shot and killed.
Gardner.
Gardner. Yeah. Well, no, not Eric Gardner. It was somebody in Ohio. It was somebody in Ohio.
I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about.
Because you had that tight end that was wearing that shirt before that game that pretty much got backlash from the Cleveland Police Department.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like stuff like that kind of, you know, creates tension and backlash that they're trying to get, you know, incite things to happen. And it's like either they're trying to paint a picture of, you know, a certain group of people that say, hey, look, these people are dangerous or whatever it is, when, you know, over the course of history, these, you know, laws and type of things has made another group of people be dangerous towards us, and they haven't been punished for it, or we haven't been compensated for it. So it's like, wait a minute, how are you going to pay us to be bad when y'all were doing that stuff to us for a much longer time than we have done to anybody? So it's like, you know, the pot and the kettle type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would like to see personally the same way he gets mad at Skip about those comments about sports, and I want to see that same intensity, same enthusiasm. You know, I want you to be enthused about the way you talk about these subjects about African Americans, the ongoing battle versus Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I'm just appalled for him to get up there and make those comments consecutively, back to back, about Marvin Lewis, then about Eric Garner and the shooting. It's pathetic. And he knows what's wrong, because he also told that story about when he got pulled over in New York City, and the only reason he got let go because one of the cops recognized it was him. So he knows what's going on. He's playing a game.
Yeah.
Who you talking about? Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah.
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 Oh, he got pulled over by the police too. Yeah, he said it on the show, man. Like in New York, he was like in one of the boroughs. It was one of the favorite little restaurants he go to, you know, after the show or whatever, I guess, or before the show. And he was in a nice car. The cops pulled him over. What he immediately did was he rolled down all four of his windows and put his hands on the steering wheel so they can see them. And then the cop was like, he said, why am I getting pulled over? The cop said, you get smart with me, boy, trying to, like, not saying, boy, you get smart with me, sir? I don't want to hear him out trying to provoke him. But then the other cop whispered in his ear, hey, that's Stephen A. Smith. And they let him go. He clearly said everybody else don't have the opportunity. That's correct, Stephen A. So that's why you should have said more about the situation instead of just saying, leaving it at that.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I didn't know about that. Yeah, because, you know, hey, he should make a complaint about that. So he was saying pretty much that he thought LeBron and some other athletes should be vocal about what's going on. That's what he pretty much was saying. Wear a shirt.
You got a lifestyle you got to live.
Now. I mean,
you got a lifestyle you got to live.
They both had said something about it. I mean, at the end of the day, man, you know, as we get older, I mean, people is people. They people. I mean, hey, some people could be on that political stuff like that today, you know, movement. Some people, hey, man, it is what it is. You can't force somebody to say what to do what they want to do. If they say that they didn't say anything about it, hey, that's not your position to say what they need to do.
My thing is with that show, First Take, I think, like, most of the people that watch that show are black males. Because you got to think about it. Like, the show's on between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And they talk about racial issues a lot because black men are at home. They ain't working between 10 and 12 o'clock in the morning, in the afternoon. So that's why they bring up these racial issues all the time. That's one factor. But they don't really delve into the racial issues like they should. I think they sort of skate around the issue, particularly Stephen A. He's more of a conservative guy. Skip, he tries to see. This is what he always says. He always prefaces his statements like, "I'm not an African American, so I don't know the experience," and then he states his view. So he kind of like tries to cover his ground before he says something, but he really doesn't want to go deep into the issue because he's afraid of saying the wrong thing because he doesn't want to be labeled as a racist or something like that. So I think that these shows don't really, I guess my point is these shows don't really get into the real root of what's going on with race in America. And to have a productive conversation about race between two people of the opposite race, it has to be a situation where both sides can state their true opinion without the other person, calling them without worrying about the other person calling them a racist. You kind of understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
James, you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, like you said, it is what it is. I guess. You can't really talk about something like that on a show on a network like ESPN. ESPN is not really that type of arena type of thing.
Yeah,
like
contractual stuff. You can't say
You would expect it out of BSNBC. You would expect it out of certainly not news.
BSNBC.
Yeah, you expect it out of certainly not news. You would expect at least
not news.
False news channel, even though they got their little tokens with what's her name, Stacey Dash on there right now that kind of looks a little bit like them. But you don't go to ESPN for it. You don't go to like the NBA on CMT for stuff like that, because that's not an arena where you would expect it. Well, either you would expect it or you would get some type of view that you haven't really heard before. That's, unfiltered or, coming straight off the rip. You're not going to get that out of them because that's not what they're there for.
Yeah, exactly.
Sports.
Because you don't want
to. And, they don't want to push the envelope on something like ESPN. So I'm not going to expect it out of Stephen A. Smith on ESPN. But when you go on Mad Dog Sport, claim that you're going to be all this, I ain't got no filters on here, and I ain't really controlled by ESPN, and I can say what I want and this and that, and then you still do the same thing. Why? Because Mad Dog Sports is controlled by the same type of people that control ESPN. So you can't really say, either you can't really say what you really want to say, or they pay you to say what you are saying to the people that are really listening to your show on Mad Dog Sports, because that's a different demographic of listeners on Mad Dog Sports compared to ESPN, because everybody don't have XM radio on their vehicle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And also, too, we all know for sports and politics, that kind of is good to help, but I kind of don't really mix with it like that, because you don't want to offend people that, some could be liberal, conservative, moderate, and all that. You don't want to say all that, and then trying to be an issue. It's all about, they just want people to watch the game and talk sports. Other debates and issues that's going on in society, that's another avenue. You got to go on another station like CNN and then MSNBC, Fox News, even though we all, how I feel about them, but those type of networks.
Right.
You don't want to get into...
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
You don't want to get into no political battle and, saying some things like that, because, he's been suspended before. He can get suspended, possibly lose his job. So you kind of... And you said some things you can't... I remember Michael Whitbine saying that, too, on TV. Some things you can't just say what you want to say like that on the air like that. Sometimes you got to, like a show, or with your people, with your circle outside on TV where you could talk and discuss some things like that. Or if you want to get on another network and discuss, let's say, if CNN or MSNBC or TV One invite you to be on the panel to talk about those type of things, and yeah, you can talk about it on a panel like that, but not on the station you're on right now on the sports.
I agree. You're right. You can't control him, but there's some things he shouldn't be saying. If there's things he can't say, he can say things a little bit better than what he's saying. And I also would like to see a commercial, same idiots in NFL commercials about domestic violence, doing one for all these shootings that happen to African Americans. That's what I want to see.
Oh man, that commercial, man. Oh geez, it's. I
didn't even see it. I don't want to see it.
The thing with this whole domestic violence thing, man, and this is what really ticks me off about the National Football League, is that either when they're trying to be pro-actionary or reactionary with a few things, they're trying to be like the flagship, sport that does those type of things. So it's like, the whole little bit with Michael Sam, they try to be all front and center with that, even though the NBA was basically, the first that kind of like did that thing. And then, now with this whole thing with the domestic violence thing that they're pushing out, that's a whole different gambit. It's hard to talk about domestic violence and this and that and the third, and I'm like, I understand that. But, okay, you're saying that to talk about it, but what other actions are you doing to progress things? Because it seems like they're still trying to put this whole thing with Ray McDonald, Ray Rice, and Adrian Peterson out there on Front Street.
African, because they're African.
Yeah, exactly. Because you got three of us that are there on Front Street, but you don't say nothing when it's Ben Roethlisberger, or if it was like anybody like a Brett Favre if he did something, or
even
or if it's like an AJ Hawk or or Clay Matthews that does something like that. Would you be doing the same thing?
Even Riley Cooper. Everybody forgot when he had said the word.
Exactly.
And that was a whole different thing. Riley Cooper was right there on tape disrespecting people or disrespecting us right there on Front Street, and then y'all didn't say nothing about that. But, if we do something in reference to domestic violence or, child abuse or something like that, we got to do this and that and the third. And that all points back to who controls the National Football League. It's the owners that look like them. It's the commissioner that looks like them. So it really doesn't matter who's part of the NFL Players Association or who runs it. It's all about who owns it and who controls that. Because if they were like up there front and center about this thing with, Riley Cooper, then he would have been at least suspended at least half the season, or at least 4 games at the very least, for saying the stuff that he said. But they didn't want to do that. But then you have this whole thing with domestic violence, number 1. You have the thing with Michael Vick, number 2. You have those things with gun possession also, number 3. And that really bothers me about the National Football League in that sense.
What broke is African. They're gonna make an example. Even the last incident, man, when the guy stepped on a dude's ankle Sunday, whenever that game was Saturday, it was a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, you talking about the Bears and Lions game? Dominique Eliolo stepped on Ego Ferguson's ankle.
When the doctor did something,
he pretty much broke his.
That dude, they try to make him. He need to be banned, all kinds of stuff. But this guy, one game, he did nothing. What? Come on, man.
They were saying he should have got. More than just one game. It was deliberate. I seen the play. I was actually like, man, but he done it before. I'm like, man, BS. Come on, man. Could have won that, man.
Ain't nothing happening.
Yep, and that's kind of crazy that they would have, you know, different type of changes here, you know, for those guys. So.
Because also too, even though it's kind of, we mentioned his name, even though it's kind of a little off, I was kind of shocked that Adrian Peterson didn't win his grievance, but Ray Rice won his appeal. Even though, I mean, Adrian Peterson, I mean, hey, you discipline a child, you discipline a child. Go ahead.
Y'all go ahead with that one because this whole thing with Ray Rice just it really like irks me a little bit about the whole thing. You know, it really doesn't, and it's not supposed to be, you know, that type of situation. It seems like the NFL took advantage of that, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and they control it. Sorry,
because they know they messed up and they trying to make it right. Oh, okay, we did mess up and try to make it right with him and everything, but shit, I mean, you made a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, my original question is, I mean, this incident itself happened in February, right?
You talking about with Ray Rice? Possibly, or somewhere around that time. Yeah,
February to April. So from that time until I guess September, nobody really, you know, knew about this stuff going on. And then in September, it was like, you know, all on Front Street on every, you know, news channel and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. All right. And so when that happens, it's like everybody's all up in arms. Why didn't the NFL do something? Why didn't the NFL do this? Why didn't the NFL do that? And then so they turn around and then they suspend him for the whole season. Okay. Now he's able to put, you know, do his appeal and whatnot. But they were kind of like blaming the National Football League to say that they knew about that part of the video, right? So why is it that, you know, earlier this week or last week or something like that, we kind of see like even more videotape of what happened after the whole incident? So who is actually controlling this footage?
Yeah,
you know, the one where they were like, you know, all in, both of them were in handcuffs and they were being escorted out of the casino and whatnot. Did any of y'all see that?
Yep.
I didn't see. I heard about it. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
it's on YouTube if you want to go. I mean, it should be still on there. I don't know, but it's on one of those video things. You'll see it. A couple of lady friends told me about it and told me before I saw it and said, you need to check it out. And I was asking what was their opinion on it. That time we had that same. She's like, man, that was deliberate. That man did that. I mean, they were saying sad about it that he had probably hit her more than one time before this. He got caught, you know, on tape doing it where he might have hit her before.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing that kind of like irked me about this whole thing. It's a very touchy subject because it deals with, you know, personal and psychological, you know, issues between the parties involved. So you can't really, you know, gauge how both of them are either at that time or beforehand. But I mean, I don't see how, you know, they're held up to a different standard than everybody else when it comes to this. Even though, like, they kind of put Ray Rice as poster child of stuff like this, because that is the pattern with our people, is they kind of like put us at, you know, in Front Street when it comes to the bad stuff, the whole domestic violence, child abuse, dog fighting, whatever it is. But that one just really kind of like irks me a bit.
And the thing about it too, the guy that works at the CVS by my house, we was just talking about it. He was saying, man, before the tune I saw the tape, man, that lady was close to hitting her head against that banister. He would have hit it kind of hard. She hit her head against that banister. That woman could have been dead, man.
Right.
Yeah. It's like she could just hit her head real hard and that impact. That woman could have died like that.
Mm-hmm.
when this man gets off, but Adrian Peterson, I mean, he didn't even come close. We don't even see. I mean, we've seen pictures, but still, I mean, hey, I mean, that's that man's child. If you want to discipline him like that, go ahead. He didn't kill him. I mean, it wasn't will. I mean, he had, this discipline. This man, he just hit a woman for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, the league is playing games because they reinstated Ray Rice, right? But he's not even playing, so they really didn't reinstate him because they got together. Because they own it and said, you know what, we're going to put him in the league, but nobody pick him up. He's not going to play for anybody.
Man, I already know nobody going to pick him up, man. Nobody wants to go through all that's going on. This the season to rest to the end. Nobody wants to go through all that stuff. And then you got to answer all these questions and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's chance to be favorable. It's chance to be favorable next year, but I don't think he ever going to play again. And we all know being out of football for a whole year, and, he a running back, and he was also kind of in decline anyway. I don't think nobody going to pick him up.
Yeah, you get and being a running back, running back is like one of the, it's not the toughest positions to play in the National Football League, and you got to pretty much be in shape and stay in shape, almost year round because of wear and tear that you have when you get in the league. Because taking those hits is no small feat at all, So if you kind of like slack off a little bit for like a couple of months, it takes a while to get back into playing shape. Even with Adrian Peterson is one of the most fit guys in the National Football League. So if you put somebody like him that's out of the league, what's he gonna do when he's not out there, in the training facilities and the camps and out there on the field,
And I actually thought his story. I didn't mean to cut you out, James.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say with his story, Adrian Peterson. I thought, man, that story would be blown over. Okay, they move on from him. He's gonna play and stuff like that. But I didn't know they was gonna suspend that man like that and all this other stuff coming out. Like, man, I was just kind of shocked the way how they treated that man. Like,
both of them will play again. I just think it's a sad situation. And I want to make two more comments too. There's another one of those domestic abuse commercials. I seen one on MTV the other day. I was like, what? MTV really? The music stars. And then back to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith got suspended about the comment that he made about don't provoke your women. Women should provoke men because of another European host on the show Sports Nation made a comment, that lady, and she was getting hated on Twitter because she got Stephen A. Smith suspended. So I'm trying to figure out why can't somebody want to say? She got him suspended. The ESPN wasn't worried about it until she made light of it. She tweeted about it on Twitter, and they got the man suspended on First Take for episode or two.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know who's in the hierarchy. Her voice is gonna hold more weight than Stephen A's, even though Stephen A has a more popular show.
Yeah, they gonna look at her, what I'm saying, according like Isaiah said. He still, even though he got popular, it's still, quote, we already know. They gonna go with that, and they gonna spin him.
Mhm.
We already know how this country is. I mean, shoot, seeing a situation like that, hey, kind of messed up, but, hey, I mean, I guess, like, that's what I was saying, but then, like that's one time we were saying under contractual agreement or something like that, which you were able to say and not able to say. Sometimes you just got to hold it off. Like with Tim Hardaway, Dan Levitar, to me, set him up. He shouldn't have even said that word, even before, that word. Now we can't say it, and be careful of saying it on the radio. Tim Hardaway should have kept that to himself. The words he said ended up costing that man his job on ESPN.
What did Tim Hardaway say?
He was talking about said something about gays or something like that. Remember that a while back? It was some years ago.
Yeah.
He was on Dan Levitar's show saying all that. And the NBA didn't want nothing to do with him. Remember he was working for ESPN. Like, that was before all that came out. Like, the NBA didn't want nothing to do associated with Tim Hardaway. So, of course, he lost his job with ESPN and all that for saying all that type of stuff, man. You gotta keep that to yourself. If you feel that view about that, talk that with your people. Don't tell the radio, the world, how you feel about that. That's what I was saying with those type of things. I mean, again, going back to your beliefs and views, some things like, man, if you already know the setting, know how it is, where you get played and they can play it a million times and say, yeah, you said this and that, man, it's not even worth it, man. On a different platform, on a different show, if you want to be a guest, then go ahead.
But what is the right platform and what will stop this stuff? Because another guy to play games on TV and be shifting is Reverend Al Sharp. He played games on MSNBC too. He don't say what he should be saying. And I want y'all to notice the man who would say that should be said, who would say what should be said, they don't put Louis Farrakhan on TV because he'll tell the truth. Notice don't put him on TV nowhere.
Nah. They ain't gonna put somebody like Farrakhan up there in Front Street. Nah, they won't do that. But
nah, they wouldn't do it.
Because he's not necessarily bought out by those guys or sponsored by those guys that, put up the Sharptons and Jacksons out there. But so you ain't gonna see Louis Farrakhan doing something like that. I mean, Farrakhan knows what's up. So
yeah, he already know he gonna. He already know he gonna speak and preach and say what he has to say. You don't need all that platform. He got stuff like you said, Nation of Islam and stuff. I think on the little blog stuff where you can see it on there. So you don't even need no major network. They know his voice. They know what he's saying.
And another person they ain't gonna put up there is Dr. Cornel West. They're not gonna put him in a flow platform. Or I mean, like that much of a TV platform where he's like there under mainstream media. They're not gonna put somebody like him up there.
No.
I mean, some people, may not like, Dr. West, but, he's kind of like, stepped out there a little bit as far as like, those type of issues, either political issues or social issues and that type of thing. So he isn't going to be, as muzzled as, somebody that's out there on Front Street and CNN or MSNBC or something like that.
But it had me thinking when you said about Stephen A. Smith being put on by the police. How long ago was this? Was this recently?
He I don't know when he got pulled over, but he made they talked about that on the show a few weeks ago. It wasn't long ago. It was this month actually. He talked about that on the show. It was around Thanksgiving or this month. It wasn't too long ago when he talked about spoke. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My bad. I was saying for him to say that for what's going on right now, then yeah, I think on a different platform. I mean, I know he knows. I know probably Al Sharpton and Steve Harvey, those type of people. That's some people on a platform on another show, not on ESPN, where he needs to talk to and speak and tell about why it happened with that, man. And those cops that did that could be doing that to some other brothers, man. Because they just let you go because you famous.
Exactly. Somebody else it won't be that unfortunate.
And we all go through this all the time. Yeah, a black man in a nice car, Mercedes, a Lexus, and we get pulled over because we driving a fancy car. All we thinking we may be a drug dealer or a thug or something like that, or stolen a car. We all know that story is going to happen again. It ain't going to be the first time with something like that, popular figure or someone like us having a fancy car. It ain't going to be the last, but that's something he kind of need to speak up on a different platform about that. If I was him, I would get them cops badge numbers too, man, and get them out the force for something like that, man. I don't think he did, but
he did.
That's the sad thing about it.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
What people ain't realizing though is history is repeating itself right now. A young man just got lynched. I heard about it this week. A young man got lynched because they didn't like the fact he was dating a European woman. And then African Americans keep getting killed. Nobody.
Where was this happening at?
Nothing.
Where this happened with the lynch?
Right? It was like in North Carolina.
I don't remember, man, because I was just amazed by the story. I didn't really pay attention to the particulars. But, yeah, that happened. Heard about this week, man. That's crazy. Lynched.
How old was the guy?
He was like 17, 18. Yeah, he was in high school. Football team.
Damn. I didn't hear about that.
Man, it's so many stories, man. I know about all of them, man. I ain't going to say all of them. I know about most of them. A lot of African Americans are getting killed this year, man. They don't talk about it.
I saw a story. Someone on Facebook posted about a young kid, I think in Florida, down in down in Palm Beach. He killed a police dog. He's 16 years old. He's serving about 20 years or something like that for killing a police dog.
Sounds about right, because in Florida, it's pull it, 10, pull the trigger, 20, kill somebody's life. That's the rule in Florida, 10, 20 life. And a dog is like a police officer. That sounds about right.
Yeah. They comparing about that and they're talking about, how Wheeler, Mike Brown, where he gets off, but then this man kills a dog. It's a dog, and he's getting 20-some years.
That's the same situation with Vic, man. They got those dog commercials, too, like the ones with the Netflix box. I seen one yesterday. I was watching TV. The dog commercial about help these dogs, help these horses. When is the animal life the more valuable than the human life? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I really haven't seen too many. I mean, I love, pets and stuff, but I really haven't seen too many. I mean, really, you don't really hear too much about it now. That's kind of, this whole season, it kind of shifted out about Peter, the animal stuff. It's all about
that was another one.
Human rights and pretty much civil and human stuff and, and sexuality. I should say sexual orientation.
That was another one, too, that, the NFL, I think the NFL tried to touch on, too, to try to clean up his so-called image was, trying to talk with Peter and try to say that, hey, we're not like this and we don't have these players that are doing this type of thing when we all know that, dog fighting is pretty much commonplace in a lot of places, especially in the South. So if you're going to get after one, you might as well get after a lot of people because dog fighting is, pretty much as commonplace as they do, like, with chicken fighting, too. Because, like a couple of boxers are well known for, doing stuff like that, too. So it's nothing new. So we don't, and they kind of like treat it like we're the people that are the source of this type of, antics or something like that. Like we're the source of this. When the stuff has been going on for a long time, way before we did it, we got it from
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yep.
Like they trying to point the finger. Like I said, they trying to point the finger at us, but where did we get it from?
Like you said, it's going on forever. I think to me that kind of shifted when Michael Sam came out being the first openly gay, guy that's were into the draft, possibly playing in the NFL. I think all that change was focused on him. That's when all the other stuff with animal rights and stuff would kind of sit on the back seat because they got a guy here that's going to be making some stories and some hay and something real big, which we was kind of hearing about it in basketball. I guess when that was happening, you was hearing about, openly gay players coming out open. I think one in college and one, Collins in the NBA. And then Michael Sam came out. I think that pretty much everything else wasn't important. This was important now, so I think that was just pretty much rubbed under the seat.
The thing that makes me mad about it is the only people that's coming out of sports is African American. That's the only ones who are coming out. That's what makes me angry. Why do we have to be the ones who are coming out? We have too many other social issues to deal with. And like in the words of my friend Clavel, they trying to push this gay agenda. I don't understand why. Let them do what they want to do. No one cares. No one stops you from being gay, man. If you don't tell me, I don't care. I'm not even worried about when you do tell me. That's what you want to do. Do your thing, but keep it from around me. I gotta see it. Where I gotta come to work at. I gotta play football at. Come on, man. I don't want to be around you in the locker room, man. That's what people may say they come with it, but it's gonna cross your mind. It has to. But that goes against the grain. I'm gonna say touch. by men that like men. That ain't right. By a woman that like women. That ain't right. I don't want to be touched by you knowing that you may like me on the fly, touching you for free feels. No.
But I was going to say, since, with us, even though, would y'all agree, in our community, the black community, I mean, it's kind of, we ain't too receptive on that type of lifestyle where another race like the Caucasian community, they more open about it, which now is being all natural because, they've been doing it well. We ain't as receptive, but we the ones that's coming out.
I agree because we leading the charge in it, man. We leading the charge in it. We leading the charge. They always try to push
like
the
you
fact
say,
that we lead. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You can finish.
They already try to push the fact that we lead the nation in AIDS and sexually transmitted diseases. You gonna come out with stuff like that? There's more stuff to downgrade the African American. I don't, it's crazy. It's foolishness. Keep it to yourself. No one's worried about what you do in the bed, man or woman. That's what you, free country. Nobody stops you from doing what you want to do. The problem is when they try to come out and say, "Hey, I want to go against the law. I want to make up new laws." That's where the problem comes. That's where they have to come out. The key word I understand is they have to come out with it because it's not right. It's abnormal. That's why they have to come out with it. They omit the whole thing. Well, pro this, but why are you coming out with it? If it was normal, you would have been doing it in the open. That's the key everybody's forgetting when they come out with all these new laws and rules and the problems we have with the gay movement they're trying to push on us.
Yeah. I was gonna say, to me, even before all this came out, I never have a problem with nobody was being gay. If that's your sexual orientation, your lifestyle, go ahead. I'm not into that type of lifestyle, but go ahead. If that makes you happy and free, hey, go ahead. Y'all human beings, I mean, that's what we want to do. I ain't judging. I'm not God. I mean, hey, that's you. And if you want to do it, and that makes you happy and being, go ahead. I mean, or if you're going to do the other thing being the surgery, that's the thing I got a problem with. Let people, like trans and all that stuff, let people know, because sometimes people can't tell, and all this surgery and all that, some people get misled, man, and they don't say nothing. That's the thing. That's the thing that gets. Yeah, that's what that he needs to, to change it. That's the only issue I got with that. That's the only kind of issue I got with that. But tell them if you're gonna do it, because sometimes, like you said, people can't tell.
And that's where the fight lies. The fight is not, nobody's not allowing them to practice their freedom, what the Constitution enrolled for. The fight is they want to be able to do it in front of you. That's what they're missing. No one cares about what you're doing. They want to fight because we want to be able to do what we want to do in front of you. Our odd obscenities, doing the stuff we know that's not normal, we want to be able to do it in front of you. That's what the fight is about. That's what everybody's missing. Stop them from doing what they want to. They just want to be able to do it wherever they want to go, and that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, 2015, I guess, is around the corner next week. So let's go. Be interested to see how things going to happen in 2015, and going into 2015, really the last full year of President Obama being in office. This is pretty much his last summer where he's got to do everything. And next summer, that's when we're going to be hearing about the next president that's going to be running for president, all the campaigning and stuff. So, man, it went by like that.
Yeah.
All right. It's about 2 minutes left, so we're going to wrap it up here. It's going to cut us off real quick. Any last comments?
Well,
go FSU.
Hey, we got one more week in the NFL to really see what's going to happen for the playoff matchups. And before next week, playoffs will start. So we got one more. I think we got one more show before that happens.
Mhm. And also on Monday we got Black, and also of course Monday is Black Monday, which we probably gonna be hearing out some of the firings during some of the games after the PM. I mean the first games, and we hear it going to the afternoon games. When you start hearing about some of the firings, so it's gonna be interesting. How many openers you think is gonna come available? Y'all think?